Welcome to Lottery Nigeria. My name is Aro John Obizo. But if you're just joining for the first time, you're welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your post notifications so you can always be updated when the new episode drops. For returning subscribers, Twali, you're the real MVPs. So on this episode, we're talking about something very important. But before then, don't forget to check out previous episodes in case you missed them and get yourself updated with waiting this up. So in this particular episode, we're talking about a very, very important matter that has been, in short, it is the real update in town. If you go to the court every day, like it's this particular matter that is always coming up, especially at the magistrate court. In Lagos, every day you get to the magistrate court, you see tenancy matters, you see landlord-tenant matter. If there are 20 matters on the court list, I can bet you that about 10-15 of them are tenancy matters, in addition to the criminal and possibly other civil suit and the rest. But heavily, particularly at the magistrate court, tenancy matter are in the sub right now. And you keep asking yourself, sometimes when you're in court and you experience some of these matters, you ask yourself, is it that this landlord and tenant, before they actually came into the whole transaction or before they became landlord tenants, didn't they meet each other and discuss some of these things? And you ask yourself, what is happening? So in this particular episode, I'll be talking about certain important things that tenants should bear in mind or should note so as to avoid wahala with their landlords. Yes, we're still going to come. Let you know, I'm not doing a juror right now. We're still going to come to the aspect of on a different episode. We're going to talk about landlords, what landlords need to do. However, what landlords need to do and what tenants need to do are almost similar. They're almost the same thing, actually. It's just that now the focus on this particular episode is on tenants. So we'll be talking about what tenants need to know and what tenants need to do so as to avoid wahala with their landlord. One very important thing that tenants must always bear in mind when moving into a new property is one. Always have a lawyer. Now, a bunch of times, Nigerians, we have this habit of seeing lawyers as now just when the matter's up, we'll just go get a lawyer. See, lawyers should essentially be part of your existence and life, especially as a Nigerian, because you can enter into any kind of wahala without even preparing for it, without even causing it yourself. Someone can just cause wahala for you. So you need to keep lawyers beside you and at your side, so that anytime anything is up, you can easily run to your lawyer and explain. Now, when you plan to move or you're moving into a house as a new tenant, you have to ensure that you have a lawyer at your side. Now, the reason is the lawyer will give you professional advice, especially as it relates to your tenancy obligation and your rights and also the agreement with your landlord. Now, it brings me to the important part. So the first one is always, as a tenant, make sure you retain the services of a lawyer. Especially when moving into a new apartment, engage a lawyer. This will not be say I don't get money. See, trust me, engaging a lawyer will save you plenty stress and wahala. You should actually see. If you get to the court and see the kind of wahalas that are happening, you will be very shocked. So the first thing you need to do and know to avoid landlord wahala as a tenant, as a prospective tenant, is you have to have your lawyer. You must have a lawyer. It is non-negotiable. But you can decide to not have a lawyer and do that. If you're a lawyer, you can come on. As a lawyer, you don't need to go get a lawyer. But if you're not a legal practitioner, you're not a lawyer, whether you have knowledge of the law or not, please retain the services of a lawyer so as to avoid issues or stories that touch when they start touching, because it will touch. So that is one. Now, the second thing you need to do is this one, since you have a lawyer, it will be taken care of. Your lawyer will ensure. But just in case your lawyer omits it, you must ensure and make sure. Ensure and make sure they're the same thing. So you see the emphasis. Make sure that at the point of any tenancy, even if it's a 1-month tenancy or is a year, see, at the point of any tenancy in respect of any particular property, that there is an agreement written down. Now, I didn't just stop at saying that there's an agreement. There must be an agreement written down, formalized. The reason I'm saying it should be written down is because, come on, there are different types of agreement. You can have oral agreement, you can have agreement by conduct, you can have express agreement. Now, it is always necessary to have express agreement. Now, apart from being express, it has to be written down. Express is when parties obviously agree to it. It could be oral. Like I'm saying, oh, okay, Oga, okay, I'm agreeing that yes, your tenancy, the early tenancy, it's express. We've agreed. We said it. But it needs to be reduced into writing. Why it needs to be reduced into writing is so that there can be a permanent form you can refer to, proof that you actually said this, that you actually agreed on this. Please always ensure as a tenant that you have agreement, because we human beings are very fantastic people. My guy, the landlord is my guy. I know him. He's my mother's best friend and my father's age mate and best friend. And yes, you guys are family. Sure, you people live in the same house. You eat from the same plate. However, people change, circumstances change, and people can be different tomorrow. So you don't want a situation where you are saying, but landlord, we agree, and say, I never see. Oh, you'll be surprised. He won't carry the Bible or whatever he believes in and swear by it and tell you that we lie, or oh my God, I swear to God, I never said it. And you'll be looking at it and you'll be shocked. So to avoid stories that touch, make sure, one, you get a lawyer. I've said that before. Don't forget that part. Very important. So you make sure that the terms of the agreement, or the terms of your agreement or the tenancy, is reduced into writing formally. Now, this one, it is not make sure you have a written agreement. See, no matter, it must not, I'm not saying that it must necessarily be one very large ceremony. No! Get your lawyer, ensure that both parties have it written down. You wasn't do all the plenty binding, all the plenty ceremony. No, you can just get, yes. If you say, okay, we can, it is tidier to type, but if you say you can't afford to type, you also get your lawyer, prepare something, it can be written down. If you don't have plenty money, see, liaise with your lawyer, explain to your lawyer will know how best to do it. If it's that both parties will come out and use biro, if you want to use biro and write it down, engage your lawyer. He will tell you, he will charge you, he will tell you what is necessary. But the thing is, no matter how you want to do it, ensure that the agreement is what? Written down. And not just written down, ensure that your lawyer is there at every stage of that agreement before you sign. Because most times, we are very fantastic people. You will see people that have lawyers, even as brothers or as fathers, as uncles, as sisters, as relatives. They will go into new apartment, they will give the agreement. They will not even tell those their relative or draw the attention of their lawyer to it. They will sign. After all, his agreement. I've read it before, I understand. So let me tell you, the way you understand something may be different from the way a lawyer will understand it. You see the word shall, for example. When you say shall, people just think it is just regular word. You shall do this. Oh, okay, I didn't do it. It's English language. In law, it is compulsory. The use of the word shall establishes compulsion. You must. So sometimes you see some of these things we will just joke with or play with may actually mean something different when we talk about it, or when we examine it in law. So this is the reason why you have to make sure that your lawyer is at every stage. So that is number 3. 1, engage a lawyer. 2, make sure at the point of entering the house there is a tenancy agreement. 3, ensure that you involve your lawyer at all stages of the tenancy agreement up to the point you sign it. Let your lawyer review it. The problem is most times we don't want to pay our lawyer. And see, let me beg you in the name of God, when you go to your lawyer, don't have the mindset that entitlement that is my guy, so he must review it for me, or is my uncle, he must do it. If they charge you for a review, negotiate and get a good price and actually get your lawyer to review it, because tomorrow you may enter into a soup that would have been avoided from the beginning. So after your lawyer has reviewed and you want to sign, make sure that you sign and get a copy of your agreement. Keep a copy. Don't say, oh, I have signed it. And most times you find out that landlords will actually tell you, okay, yes, tenant sign. Now, this is for landlords that want to be mischievous. They are good tenants. Like I said, they are good landlords, they are bad landlords. They are good tenants, they are bad tenants. So for landlords, the aspect of landlords now, some landlords may actually collect the agreement, so they'll have all the copies to themselves and they'll refuse to return it back. Insist. It is part. Don't forget that when you're entering that house, that you paid for agency and legal fee. So insist. They'll tell you his agreement fee. Insist that you do what? You collect your own copy of the agreement, so that tomorrow you can have a proof. Because most times you see that there's some person, like I said, that people are mischievous. Some landlords are mischievous. You may actually sign. After signing, when tomorrow something happens and it's obvious that from the agreement they are on the wrong. Human beings are fantastic. They can meddle with the document, and before you know it, something that was not there will now become there, or something that was there will be taken away. So you need to be careful. So After signing your document, ensure that a copy is returned to you and retained. Then the fifth one, very important. See, you see what I'm talking about, agreement or argument. No matter what kind of agreement you do, ensure that you, let me correct that. I said no matter what kind of agreement you do, but make sure that the agreement you do is a formal agreement written down with the various terms stipulated clearly. Now, ensure that you keep to the agreement, every term in the agreement. Don't forget, number 3 was what? Having your lawyer review the agreement. So at the point when your lawyer has reviewed the agreement, it means that your interest has been protected. So before you sign, your interest has been protected. One reason why you need your lawyer to review your agreement is to make sure that your interest is protected. When you engage a lawyer and you pay his professional fees, trust me, he will protect your interest. So that is why you need a lawyer to review that document. Now, after reviewing the document and your interest is protected, and things that should be there are there, or things that should not be there are not there, then your lawyer will direct you to sign. You now go to the next stage, which is number 4, the signing of your agreement. And that's what we call execution. So, at the point where you actually have signed the agreement, you must comply with that agreement. If not, the landlord will give you wahala. Will give you what? Wahala. You can't say you actually want to avoid landlord wahala, but you're not keeping to the agreement. If the agreement you sign and you agreed to after the review by your lawyer says no party in the house and you agree to it, Oga, please avoid parties in the house. If he says you live on the last floor, don't pour water from upstairs. Don't pour water from upstairs. If he says, now this is a very common one that is causing problem, the aspect of pets. If he says that you should not keep pets, do not keep pets. If you must, seek the consent of your landlord, and let me advise you, always have it written down. Let me say it again. For every discussion you have with your landlord as a tenant, you should ensure that you stick to it. I'm not just sticking to it, that you ensure that it is written down so that you can have something to fall back to in case anything happens. Most times when you get to court, not most times, all the time you get to the court and there's a matter and parties are arguing or establishing different facts, what the court looks at in deciding what party should actually get remedy is the evidence before it. If you're claiming a particular thing and you cannot prove it, it says he who asserts must what? Prove. If you claim a particular thing exists, you must show that it truly exists. Not just saying it exists, but show the court and convince the court that it exists, because the court was not there when parties signed. So ensure that at every material time you do what? You have the agreements are in permanent form. If it's not written down, it could be audio or something, but preferably let it be written down, because the stress of having to audio can miss and all that. But when it's written down, it's typed and the lawyer can retain a copy, you can retain a copy, you can scan and upload to your email. It's a permanent, all these are permanent form, recording and video and everything, they are permanent form. However, you know that most people will not actually will not want their voices to be recorded and all that, and or taking their videos taken. People will prefer that it is written down. So the general accepted form of making agreements formal is what? Typing them or putting them in written form and everybody sign. So ensure that you keep to every form, every term in the agreement. By the time you do all these things, trust me, you're surely going to avoid issues and wahala with your landlord. Like I said, we have good landlords. They are the good landlords. If you have a good landlord, ensure that you do your best to make your landlord happy. You don't want to make that man angry or pissed off with you, because if the landlord can show that yes, he had at all times allowed you quiet and peaceful enjoyment of your property, but you're not the one, but you're the one not keeping to your terms, trust me, so far the necessary things like statutory notices have been issued to you, the court will do well to give judgment against you. Always do your best to stay out of wahala. Follow all these things I've told you. Have your agreement, have your lawyer by your side, have your agreement reviewed at all times, sign, make sure that you have a copy of it, and always seek professional advice. The next thing I want to advise you is number 6, always ensure that at every time there's an issue, especially one that you feel that is capable of affecting your tenancy agreement with your landlord, always ensure you seek professional advice from your lawyer. Now, most times, a lot of persons want to take action into their hands, self-help, do this particular thing. As a tenant, ensure that at all times, before you take such actions that may jeopardize your tenancy agreement or are capable of seriously affecting your tenancy agreement with your landlord, you're sure you seek consultation with your lawyer so that I can give you professional advice, and the one that the wahala that you can prevent, you prevent it. If it's where they need to write to them and bring it to notice of the court. The idea is You should be seen to be doing the proper thing at all material time. I hope this episode has been able to enlighten you as a tenant on what you need to know and do while seeking apartment as a tenant, so as to avoid wahala with your landlord. Don't forget, like I said, there are good landlords and there are bad landlords. However, you have to also be a good tenant to enjoy peaceful and quiet enjoyment of possession. My name remains Aaron John Obizo, but I hope you'll be able to learn something in this particular episode. Don't forget to look out for the next episode. We'll be discussing something very interesting. Dear landlords, please do not be angry. We're trying to make your work easy by educating tenants so that they can actually do what is proper. We surely will do another episode particularly for landlords. But until then, my name remains Aaron John Obizo, and don't forget, this is Lord Tori Naija. Hit the subscribe button if you've not subscribed. Share and drop your comments. If you have questions to ask, kindly ask questions in the comment section. We'll reply to them. And don't forget to always stay tuned for new episode. Thank you for watching. God bless you.